campaign's first attack ad. Let me get back onto focus. We are going to turn the economy around. We are going to find that balance between how can we help business but make sure that we protect our quality of life, right? But we have to remember, quality of life starts with a good job, right? And we have to make sure that we realize that even as we're protecting that quality of life, that we make sure that we have good jobs for our citizens. Now, we're going to do this in a way that defines Colorado as a place of innovation and ideas. We're going to try and attract small businesses here, make sure we have access to capital. I mean, there's no reason. Look at how many young people want to live in towns like Salida or Gunnison, right? When you go out to even Grand Junction or Steamboat Springs, you don't have to be in resorts. People want to be out here. We need to make sure we have redundant cable access so that the young entrepreneurs can have a business in Salida. They can have a business on the Eastern Plains. A lot of folks are tired of living in urban areas, but we don't have the infrastructure in place to allow them to have businesses in smaller towns. We can do that. We got again, through the efforts of Gail Schwartz, we got a $100 million grant 3 weeks ago, from the Department of Commerce to make sure that every single school district in the state of Colorado has high-speed redundant cable, right? Fiber optic. And part of this notion of defining Colorado as a place of innovation and a place that does things differently is running a statewide campaign for governor with no negative ads, right? Right on. When I came out here, whatever it was, 9.5 months ago, and we promised to run a positive campaign, and as I left, there was a gentleman who came up and said, "God bless you, I hope you can do that, but boy, I'm not sure you can," right? Well, we have, and we tried to be funny. I mean, I thought the shower ad was kind of silly. Certainly no fun with that camera on the shower nozzle, and the director wanted my eyes open when the water came on. Try it at home, right? After the 7th or 8th time, I mean, it's not waterboarding, but it's tough, right? I took a shower the next day. I just turned on my own shower in my home. I went like this. I went, oh! But the point of that shower ad is very important, and that is that there's a reason why corporations don't do attack ads, don't do negative ads. When's the last time you saw General Motors do an attack ad against Toyota or Ford, right? They know that an attack ad not only tears down the product or the person that you're attacking, but it diminishes all the people that use that product or believe in that person, that elected official. And in the end, the challenges we're facing demand that we come together after this election. November 2nd, the election day isn't the end, it's the beginning. And we were just talking, my wife is here, Helen Thorpe. Please give Helen the largest hand. Is that the mayor?
Yeah.
Is Mayor Rose out there? Gail says that. Yeah, bring him in. Come on, Mayor, get in here. Mayor Rose, come up here. We're just winding up. Thank you for being here. Nothing like being around a popular mayor. And I can tell what his approval rating is way up there. Now, this notion of not having attack ads, right, that after November 2nd, we're all going to have to work together. I mean, to a certain extent, we take for granted, for the last 60 years, America has been the dominant economy in the world, right? But there is no guarantee going forward that that's going to continue, right? And we cannot afford the bickering and partisanship after the election that has characterized this country for the last 10 or 20 years. If you actually step back and look at it, it's really since these attack ads really became so prevalent. And I would argue that being able to run the first campaign in, I think, 30 years on a statewide competitive basis, on a contested election, and stay positive is going to say something about Colorado, right? That we are a different place. We are going to bring people together. Now, some folks in the beginning said it was impossible. My wife, oh, there she is. Have you guys heard her book? She wrote the greatest book called Just Like Us. Have you guys heard that book? Yeah. And she is, obviously her own career as a successful writer, and yet has been so supportive of this, and we are so grateful. And we talked in the beginning about how difficult to do a positive campaign would be. And I remember back in the very beginning, in 2003, when I first ran for office, first campaign I'd ever run for anything, and we were about 3% in the polls, and I think half of those people worked for one of my restaurants. And we said we were going to do a positive campaign, and people said it was impossible. And, you know, I've done a bunch of stuff people said. When I was opening a brew pub, everyone said it was impossible. No one's going to go. My mother wouldn't invest. She said, who's going to eat dinner? Who's going to eat dinner in a brewery? She said, right? And the bottom line is that when I ran for mayor, people said, well, if you're going to stay positive, you'll never win. And I had this clipping from the Denver Post, and it really summed it up. It was about a professor, and I told this story 9.5 months ago when I was out here in Salida, and it was about a professor at the University of Wyoming in Laramie, talking about the importance of using opposites when you're speaking publicly. And if you talk about the worst of times, you have to talk about the best of times. If you talk about the agony, you have to talk about the ecstasy. And she asked her class, what's the opposite of despair? The kid right in the back goes, joy? She goes, exactly. You want people to feel despair. Use joy in the same sense. The words gain emotional impact by being together. And she said, what's the opposite of woe? And the kid way in the back goes, giddy up! and the bottom line is, whether you're trying to start a newfangled concept, a brew pub in an abandoned warehouse, whether you're trying to turn around a statewide economy, whether you're trying to run a positive statewide campaign, the bottom line is the opposite of woe is to giddy up. So we're going to need your help, right? We need you guys to make phone calls. Now, how many of you signed up to make phone calls in the next 6 days? Now, how many of you would be willing to sign up?
Yeah. You call her our chair.
Oh, great. Where's Pete?
Pete's right here. He's our chair.
Our chair. Pete, thank you for all your hard work in getting all these people signed up. You can talk to Pete. I also actually had a list. I didn't realize we have Bill Reeves and Pete Palmer here are both candidates, as well as Joyce Reno and Joyce Reno and Diana Woods. So I should have thanked them right in the very beginning.
There's Bill. There's Bill.
There's Bill Reeves himself. So this is, you've got 6 days, and it is going to, I guarantee you, these races are going to be close. Gail Schwartz is going to be in a very difficult, she is in a very difficult race. Those extra calls, getting your friends and family to make sure that they vote, and use your emails or your networks out to the rest of the state, right? If you know people in Metro Denver or in Durango or Grand Junction or Pueblo, contact them. Just bring it up. Just say, hey, have you voted yet? Let's get the right people in office here. Kerry Kennedy's she is in again, a very, very challenging race. She is, without a question, I think the best treasurer in the United States, right? We need to make sure that she gets elected. So your efforts will define that. With your help, we will giddy up across Colorado. Thank you very much.